Black does best. I mean, you heard it from Flex. They pretty much come here with that mindset, we are going to place. And that's what they come into every tournament. They prepare and they play to win.
Of course, and now we are going to have these teams already queuing up. It is going to be Runes of Lordaeron, and looking at the players and the names as we're going to join this, and it is going to be that RMP mirror.
All right. And JP let me know he's trying to confuse the Koreans. Venruki was saying he's going to play Prot Warrior. Probably just trying to make him a little mad. But let's go ahead and take a look at this game. Top left, that is going to be coL.Red, Soda, Venruki, and Rekful. On the right, Button Bashers, number 1, Heron, and Orange Marmalade. And of course, you can kind of compare gear a little bit, and everything almost exactly the same for both of these teams, except for the only difference you really see is about a 700 HP difference on the Priest, with number 1 having a little more HP.
All right, we have so many great players in this round. Who do you want to follow out of the gates?
It's got to be Orange Marmalade. If there's one name we do know, it's going to be him. And we always talk about this in RMP mirrors. How do the mages stack up against one another? Because it is a huge battle. Whoever controls more puts out more damage. It always shows that way.
All right, gates are going to be opening for coL.Red versus Button Basher. The loser is going to be going home without any chance for that $15,000. Gates are opening following Orange Marmalade.
And now you see it, both RMPs going to run out towards the middle, tricks being thrown up, and you see Orange already being the aggressor, hopping across with this pet out, and in come the Rogues. The opener's going to be onto Soda from Heron, and it actually looks like Rekful's going to go onto Orange Marmalade. He drops down to 8,000 HP already. Early blind onto number 1. It looks like he's going to try to sit through it, and he actually was able to, so good job there. And Orange already having to use his first block, and it looks like they're going to wait it out and stick to Orange Marmalade, and there was a blind onto Rekful. He went ahead and trinket that. There's a sheep onto Venruki, and now you see a mind control onto number 1 though from Soda. Not something you get to see all the time, and Heron being sheep once again. Still a lot of pressure on Orange Marmalade.
Rekful totally vanished that poly a little bit earlier, as you guys can see on the screen. We're going to switch to Rekful because he's doing a ton of damage to Orange Marmalade. They're going to DPS him straight through pain suppression and drop him. He had hypothermia up. He didn't have a chance to use his second block yet.
And now coL.Red, considered one of the best RMPs in the U.S. in the past, showing that they can still stack up very well, dropping Orange Marmalade for the first win, and now they are just trying to stay alive and get another shot at their fellow team of coL.Black.
And there we go, coL.Red taking the first round right now. Look at the control. We were talking about which mage was going to throw out more control, who wouldn't be able to put out damage. Orange Marmalade forced to block almost straight away, 20 seconds into the match. And that first Mass Dispel missed, the second one landed on him. And I mean, look at the damage numbers. Orange Marmalade not able to put out anything.
And JP over there watching the Koreans play, saying number 1 is pretty shaken up about that loss.
All right, so I assume these teams are going to jump right back into it since they are very confident RMP teams.
And the biggest thing that you see whenever RMPs do mirror against one another in these tournaments is the different styles, specifically whenever they're from different countries. I mean, we talk about it all the time. European RMPs play completely different than US RMPs. And of course, this Korean RMP that came in, and they have been aggressive in just pulling out different strategies that we have never seen before.
All right, let's take a look at Venruki this time, since he was the one that made things happen. I mean, we saw Orange Marmalade immediately jumping over the 2-minute center, getting his pet out early, hoping to put out that early damage, early control. Rekful doing such a great job, though, on Rogue, shutting down his damage. Orange Marmalade ended up doing 7,000 damage that game, and that's nothing. Tiny drop in the bucket when you look at an RMP.
And honestly, the difference in styles came down to the openers. Heron opting to open on Soda, and Rekful deciding to go with a Garrote onto Orange Marmalade, and just it was too much aggression. Very early blind onto number 1. He decides to sit through it, forcing Orange Marmalade to have to block, and they just continued on with the pressure. coL.Red doing a fantastic job in the first game.
Not only that, Soda realizing Undead, Will of Forsaken change, sets a cooldown on the trinket, so he was able to mind control him without him able to will out of it. Great job by coL.Red last round on Runes of Lordaeron.
So let's go ahead into its second game, Button Bashers versus coL.Red. And now you see it, Soda going to go ahead and hang back a little bit. Venruki already going to invis, and let's see how this opener goes down.
Looks like we are going to see the sap onto Soda right away, and Venruki getting here and out of stealth with that Arcane Explosion right there. Lots of damage onto Soda right now. You do see the kidney shot, and he is going to have to use something, or he's going to take a ton of damage. Able to get out of line of sight right there. Great sheep onto Hirin.
And now you see CC being stacked onto here, and Orange Marmalade already having to block. Reckful staying in this fight, though, and he's just going to sit through that block and look at him. There's a gouge as he immediately comes out. Hirin's vanishing and coming over to Reckful, and there's the opener onto Reckful, but number one is caught into another poly, though.
And Venruki looking to completely control number one, and we do see a shadow, a poly shadow of death. Great job by number one right there. Venruki polying Orange Marmalade right there. Focus polying number one.
And now you see it here and being controlled more and more. Now these two rogues kind of dancing with one another in the middle of the arena. Number one caught into a fear, though, and now Hirin's dropping down to about 10,000 HP. There's a kidney shot CS onto number one, getting a little low. You see him jumping out of there. Something he's been great at is kiting away in bad situations. Now Soda was polyed there, and now you see a Nova from Venruki to trap Hirin behind the pillar, and now they're going to try to put some damage into him. You see Dismantle already being used. Number one polyed once again. Now Reckful is blinded with dots up, and so that will break, and now you see a kidney shot onto Reckful. And
a little choice difference. I mean, Hirin has no buffs. They stripped him completely, which means any of the priest buffs that are going to help him live are going to be dispelled instantly by Soda.
And now you see him trying to get picked up. Fear onto Soda while he's in that poly, but Hirin's still getting very low, 7,000 HP. Pain suppression does come out. Reckful getting a little low as well. Hirin down to 2k HP, and down goes Hirin. coL.Red does it again, puts down Hirin of Button Bashers.
Look at that stacked crowd control. We had Venruki lay that blanket CS onto number one, followed by the deep freeze, and that's what led to that kill right there. He was able to get pain suppression out and no heals after that. Hirin sat under 20% life that whole time.
And now coming into this tournament, one thing we talked about was, would coL.Red have the confidence necessary to come into a high-prized tournament like this and be successful? And I can promise you, after going up 2-0 against Button Bashers, probably considered one of the best RMPs in the world, that's exactly what they're going to get.
And it's just a playstyle difference that coL.Red's very aggressive openers are just doing such a great job. We saw Venruki wait a little bit, waiting till they opened up onto Soda, able to poly Hirin off, and then forcing Orange Marmalade again to block right at the start.
Now both of these teams will be given the opportunity to talk things over and maybe make up any swaps, but we can go ahead and assume coL.Red is feeling very comfortable with their RMP, and Button Bashers, we've yet to see them run anything else at this tournament, so we can go ahead and assume it's probably going to be another RMP mirror.
Oh yeah, no doubt in my mind. I mean, these players are probably talking a little bit about strats right now, but I'm sure Button Bashers wants to jump right back in and try to turn this series around.
All right, take a quick look at the player area. They're already all sitting down, staying at their computers, but we do see a few people getting up, and it is actually going to be coL.Red taking a few minutes to talk things through. They want to make sure they can continue the momentum.
See, I wish I had the option of rewinding and watching those matches right now. I mean, if I was at home watching the HD stream, that's what I would be doing, going back when they do have this 5 minutes and taking a look at exactly what happened. I mean, we saw a poly shadow death, and we saw a poly vanished. I mean, they are doing such a great job. Every player in these arenas right now are just absolutely spectacular players.
It is great to see coL.Red doing so well, and actually Reckful being put in. We haven't seen that much of him over the weekend.
Yeah, I know, but you know, he said that they were going to mirror, and they did mirror. As we can see on your screen right now, this is going to be the team of Button Bashers. Of course, we have number one being closest on your screen, and then Orange Marmalade in the center and Hirin at the end, and of course we have Neilio peeking in, trying to get some tips from Hirin.
You're going to get some flack for that one.
No, everyone. Any single rogue that would be here, if they had the option of being back there, they would be standing around. You know, in fact, I bet Reckful would have watched that game if he could.
And now we see it, and you do remember, coL.Red does have all four members here. Snuts just kind of sitting behind there, having to sit this one out, but
hey, he's getting rowdy too. We hear the yells and scream come from Snuts, even though he's not even in the match.
And honestly, it's helping this team out. You can tell that level of confidence. And through every tournament we've ever seen, the teams that get the loudest tend to do the best.
Oh, it's completely true. I mean, wait, no, that's not right.
Well,
Caps Lock Crew, I'll give it to them. They were loud and rowdy, but they didn't go anywhere.
It depends how far back we go, but recently here.
Yeah, no, of course. And you know what?
Teams.
It's not only being loud and being rowdy and trying to throw the enemy team off. It is the confidence. When you have someone like Snuts that is a new player, you know, you look at these players that are, I mean, he's invincible, you know? He's never had a huge crushing loss in Arena yet. You know, he showed up to his first tournament, did absolutely amazing coming from an online tournament, getting sponsored by Complexity to show up. Not only that, I mean, you talk about how you break your way into the scene, look at Snuts. That's how you do it. You win an online tournament, you get sponsored by Complexity, you know, on a whim to throw them to Anaheim as the 8th team, and then now look where he's sitting now.
All right, while we do have a couple of minutes, we will go back to the Ask the Cast thread, which is hosted on gotfrag.com. We're going to move down to 164. We won't go through the whole thing, but he's asking if we could get the MLG tournament scene over to Europe to see how BG9 does against the EU Cyclone, which is basically the European BG9. Could you imagine a top 4 BG9 versus top 4 Cyclone? There'd be fights probably.
What, 8 Prot Warriors?
No, I'm in IRL more than.
Oh, there we go. Oh no, I won't touch that. But I've heard there's a little bad blood between maybe one of the European players and one of the U.S. players.
I think there's a little bit here and there.
No, but they've been great guys. Every single time that the European players come over here, we've just, I mean, all the WoW players, you know, it's such camaraderie. They always hang out and, you know, talk. I mean, you look at all these players sitting behind. You take other games, for example. You know, any other game that has been at these events that I've been at, it's not like that with any other games. It's WoW, totally beginning to end. They're all friends.
It's been very interesting to get to meet the Koreans and hang out with those guys. They're always a lot of fun.
Oh yeah.
And right now we'll kind of move down a little bit, and we're going back to the question of what are your opinions on Blizzard updating gear on Land Realms to current PvP, PvE gear?
You know what? You will see exactly what Blizzard is thinking with this TR. If you see new gear on the TR, that's their stance on it. If you see the Season 5 gear coming up, that's exactly what they want. Maybe they want a little bit slower game, even with this new rule set, or the new changes with all the classes, 3.3 especially. Even with that Season 5 gear, it's just that dynamic of a little bit slower gameplay.
All right, looks like both of the teams are seated, queued back up. It's going to be in the Grand Arena for Game 3 between Button Bashers and Complexity.Red in this losers bracket, where Complexity.Red is sitting in the comfortable spot of 2-0. You couldn't ask for any more. You can only imagine how confident this team is feeling at this point.
Oh, completely. I mean, every member on Complexity.Red has been playing absolutely flawless, and that's what they need to do to take down a team such as Button Bashers.
And once again, there you see Complexity.Red on the top left, Button Bashers on the top right, and it all comes down to this. If they want to stay in this tournament and face Complexity Black again, they need to win here. And Button Bashers, really, I thought, you know, it might not have swayed this way so easily, but you got to give props to Complexity.Red bringing it together.
An RMP team, when they click and everyone does exactly what they need to, it makes a huge difference.
Gates will be opening in just a moment. Let's go ahead and follow Rekful out of the gate, take a look at how he chooses to go for his opener, as that's been the main difference between these two teams, the style of opener from Rekful and Hiran.
Hiran has been going on to Soda at the beginning almost every single time, as Rekful has been opening on Orange Marmalade, so we'll have to see.
And actually, big props to VinRookie in that last game. He's still been doing a great job, as we've seen throughout the tournament. Gates have opened in Game 3. Both rogues going to hang back and take it easy until they finally go for their opener. Now you see them kind of pushing up. That's going to be, that's going to be Button Bashers. There's a sap onto number 1 and Soda at the same time. VinRookie has been polyed. And now you see a Groat on an Orange Marmalade like we've seen in the past. And they're actually going to go into Soda again. There's the kidney shot. Counterspell onto VinRookie, but still, Soda easily able to keep himself up.
That was a blind onto number 1 right there. Rekful still sticking onto Orange Marmalade, who's sitting at about full health. Number 1 probably had to trinket that, I'm sorry. And Soda, wow, down to 9,000 hit points right now, taking a bunch of damage. Orange Marmalade not in line of sight quite yet, blinking over to try to put the damage into it, but having to block.
And now you see a Fear onto number 1. There's the MD onto Orange Marmalade, followed by a cheap shot down to 7,000 HP, getting so very low, 6k HP, having to use Mana Shield. And now you see VinRookie trying to get into the action with a Holy Fire going in as well. Orange Marmalade down to 2,000 HP as number one is counterspelled. 988 HP. There's the mind control. Down goes Orange Marmalade. Complexity Red will do it again.
Reckful was, Hirin was doing everything he can to stop Reckful, but once Reckful was able to vanish and almost made his way over to Orange Marmalade, he didn't even need to.
Soda says, number one, you've got damage. Well, I've got mind control, and we've seen it 2 times in a row. Soda been able to work.
This is the secret to beating Button Bashers right here. Shut down Orange Marmalade, and you win.
And, I mean, in the past, we usually see RMPs kind of go with an aggressive priest. That's really where you see an RMP succeeding. But honestly, with the Will of Forsaken change, a mind control that is used in a CC chain is proving to be completely detrimental to Button Bashers.
Exactly, and not only that, you look at previously undead priests were able to trinket a poly and then Will of Fear. I mean, if you trinket a fear, you're getting polyed. If you trinket a polyed, you're getting feared, and that's it. You've got that 45-second gap where you can't do anything about it.
And anyone watching this series, if you actually predicted complexity of 4-0 Button Bashers, I'm not seeing it coming.
Down to you.
And now they're going to go right back into it, but Complexity Red, after 3 games played, already sitting at match point, and this is huge for this team. This is one way to start 2010 if they continue to plan on pursuing WoW as an esport. Taking down one of the greatest RMPs in the world in a mirror is huge.
And you know what they say, the road to Easy Street always takes you through the sewer.
Wow.
Dude, channeling a little John Madden there, come on.
Wow. You Googled that before this started, didn't you?
I've been saying that for the past... All right, anyway, so we do have Complexity Red versus Button Bashers, and who would expect this? With Button Bashers being such a strong RMP, Complexity Red mirroring them. In the past, they have gone about 50-50, of course, but, these guys are on their game today.
And now, I take a look at Orange Marmalade's gear. He still has not made any changes to his gear, even though he's been focused every single time almost. Hirin did die in that second win, but still Orange Marmalade generally the target.
All right, who do you want to follow this time?
Honestly, it's going to have to be on Reckful. He's the one that's just been continuously shutting down Orange Marmalade and basically not even allowing him to be a part of these games.
My favorite part of this map is the very beginning, when you do see that pet come out while they're flying midair and tossing that freeze out and getting a rogue out. We'll have to see if that happens.
As always in an RMP mirror, generally the rogue opener can decide a win or a loss, but game 4 between Complexity Red, 1 win away from shutting out Button Bashers from this championship. Now you see both mages coming out and rank 1 Frostbolts start to fly as they want to try to get up as many debuffs as they can before they poly, just to make dispels a little bit tougher.
We see the rogues haven't chosen to open quite yet. Reckful looking for his target right now, and same with Hirin, playing passive right now. There we go. Now we see the sap onto number 1, which means they are going to grow at Orange Marmalade. Almost hit him with that arcane explosion right there. Reckful in that Nova.
And now you actually saw a cheap shot onto Soda, but then immediately a swap over to Reckful. Kidney shot, he's going to drop down to 10,000 HP, immediately trinkets, and it has to get out there. Number 1 was blind in that situation, but he did trinket as well. Orange Marmalade sitting a little low, but Reckful's still going to be in a good amount of trouble as he has no trinket up.
Number 1 deep freeze, followed by a psychic screen on top of him. Now he's out of it. Pain suppression onto Orange Marmalade, I do believe, and then not having to block quite yet.
And that great job by number 1 there, throwing the pain suppression up a little early, as all great priests do. But one thing to look at, no mana right now in this fight. Number 1, 8k, Soda, 3k, Soda caught in a fear. He will. Reckful blinded. Orange Marmalade down to 11,000 HP with hypothermia still up at this point. Now we see some Frostbolts heading out towards Reckful, but those are going to be canceled. Reckful still hovering around 10,000 HP, but Orange is low as well with number 1 feared. Hirin, oh wow, Orange Marmalade down to 1,500 HP to kidney shot. And down goes Orange Marmalade, and Complexity Red looking to shut out Button Bashers, something that most people wouldn't even have thought would have ever happened at this tournament in an RMP mirror. And that will do it. Complexity Red will completely shut out Button Bashers. They will be knocked out of this tournament, and in our grand finals, it will be Complexity Black versus Complexity Red.
What a series. Complexity Red, every single player on that team pulling their weight. We saw massive mind controls from Soda. We saw it shutting down all sorts of damage from Venruki. We saw a poly vanish from Reckful. Oh, what an amazing series.
and everybody gave Reckful a little bit of a hard time when he first started out. Had a rough Friday at his first tournament. He came back and did a great job. A little bit rocky since then, but now you got to admit he still got it. We will have our grand finals coming up to see who will be our World of Warcraft national champion and win that $15,000 check. But first, as always, we're going to take a short commercial break from Orlando for the MLG 2009 PC Circuit played on HP.